Hi guys, you already see the title, you know what we're talking about today, so I am just gonna get right to the point. I am backing out of my bodybuilding competition prep, my bikini show prep. I don't have anything planned for this video. I don't have notes. I just wanted to hop on and explain. I felt like I owed it to you guys as I'm doing a whole vlog series on making it to stage, and that has abruptly stopped. So I wanted to explain myself. I guess I'm just gonna start at the beginning and end at the end and see what comes out of my mouth. I think the best way to sum it up, like if I had to sum it up in one sentence, I would say the reason why I am not continuing with this bodybuilding show prep is I was not okay with the kind of sacrifices, dangerous sacrifices I had to make to do well in the sport, to win, the compromises I had to make, my morals, my values, the way that my quality of life had to suffer, my relationships had to suffer. And so just essentially I was just not okay with everything that comes with doing well in this sport. That is probably the best way I can describe it. Not that I wasn't able, just that I wasn't okay with it. And it just became not fun anymore. I started this journey saying that I wanted to show you guys that you can get to stage in a fun, non-toxic, positive, loving way. And the deeper I got into the process, the darker it got, and I was like, this is not genuine anymore. This message I'm sending is not positive anymore. It's not good for me anymore. It's dangerous. And so I just had to stop. So let's start at the beginning and end at the end. So first things first, when I first got into prep, I was so excited. I literally made it my whole identity. Obviously, you guys saw I was posting a video every week, every day on my story. I loved the way my body was shaping up. I looked so good. I was getting so jacked, and I still do. I'm only like 5 days out of prep. So yeah, it was really exciting. I had this thing that was hard that I could pour myself into. I had this date on the calendar. I had this goal, and I was all in. Fully every single thought, every single thing I did was prep, and it was so fulfilling, so exciting. I shared in every single vlog. I'm so in my pocket. This is what I meant to be doing. It was such a positive change. I was so happy. And I think I got lost in the magic of it all. The way that my social media momentum was picking up, the views were picking up, my clientele was picking up, and it all was just so exciting that I definitely lost sight of why I originally set out to do this. Because when you get so excited about something, I'll speak for myself, I got so excited about it that I began to compromise little by little on my values, on my morals, on my quality of life, on my priorities, without noticing. Like, I didn't really notice at first. It started with, okay, we will start putting on a waist trainer, and that's a really small thing. It's not dangerous. Okay, we'll start putting on a waist trainer, whatever. Okay, we'll start rubbing like a fat burner cream on my body before I put the waist trainer on, before I do my cardio. Okay, that doesn't seem so bad. Okay, we'll introduce this fat burner pill. All right, well, if this is what's gonna get me to stage, if this is what you have to do if this is just part of the process, okay, now take 2 of those a day. Okay, we're just pushing harder. I wanted to sign up for something hard. I wanted to do hard things. Okay, let's introduce this other fat burner pill. All right, well, this is just what you gotta do to get to stage. Okay, now take 2 of those a day. So now you're on 4 fat burner pills a day. All right, now do it with black coffee to get your momentum, or to get your metabolism up more. Okay, the panic attacks on the stair stepper are normal because you're just on so many stimulants. It's just a part of the process. Okay, you're crying through your workout just because your body's so tired, and this is just one of those hard days. Tomorrow's gonna be better. Okay, and so it's just like, it started as like, oh, put on a waist trainer, and it ended up, this is not good for my body. And I never wanted to share my macros with you guys because that I just knew intuitively in my heart how dangerous it was. And in my mind, it was like, this is just what has to be done to get to stage. Not realizing that getting to stage was against literally everything that I stand for as a coach, to listen to your body and take care of your body. And what is it telling you? And like I said, this went way past like doing a hard thing and setting a goal. It became dangerous. I was on my depletion days, I was eating like 900 calories a day, guys. And towards the last couple weeks of prep, my baseline, not in a depletion, my baseline like normal high day was 1,100 calories a day. And this is on top of 75 to 80 minutes a day on the stair stepper, and then training 6 days a week. Cardio was every day, there was no rest days. So my body was outputting so much energy, running on absolutely no food. I was starving myself. My body was starving. When I tell you guys, I could not stand up in the shower. I couldn't stand up in the shower. I had to sit through my showers. I remember there were 3 big moments of clarity where I was like, this is getting dark and I have to face the reality that this is not okay. One of them being, I was sitting on the floor in the shower, just absolutely exhausted, and I couldn't stand up. And I was thinking to myself, okay, just 8 more weeks. I was feeling this way 10, 9, 8 weeks out. I still had so long to go. And that was just from my first show. The whole season would have been 14 weeks out. So I had 14 weeks where I had to sustain this. So I'm sitting on the floor in the shower. I can't stand up. I'm like, Leah, just take it one day at a time. And I had to hype myself up to grab my towel. I'm like, let's go, Leah. Come on, you can do this. You just have to reach your arm up, turn the knob off, and then just grab the towel. And then 1 foot at a time, stand up and dry yourself off. Leah, you can do this. That is where my energy levels were. I could not turn off the water in the shower and dry myself off. I was like, 8 more weeks until show 1? I don't know about that. But then I had in my mind, you wanted to do a fucking hard thing. Don't be a pussy. Don't back out. So I'm like, okay. And transparently, I lost my period during this process early on, like probably a month, 2 months in. So my period's been gone for 3 months now. 2 months, something like that, like 2.5 months was last time I had my period. But I lost my period very early on, and I didn't tell my partner for a month because I knew intuitively it was wrong, and I was compromising so much of my values of hormonal health and nourishing your body. And I want to have babies someday, and I've put in years of work to heal my womb and my periods and my PMS, and I put that all out the window in an instant for what? To get shredded? Oh, I'm so frustrated at myself, guys, because I allowed this to happen. This is not my coach's fault. This is not a knock on prep. He was taking me through the process of what it is to win and do well at the sport, and that's what I was asking of him. So I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at prep. They were doing their jobs. I'm mad at me for saying yes. And so I lost my period early on, and this was a big wake-up call for me. I didn't tell my partner for like a month because I knew it was bad, and I knew he would be worried about me, and I knew this was not aligned with my values. And when I finally did have the conversation with him, I'm so ashamed of this. I literally said out loud, I don't care that I lost my period. I want to make it to stage. Ooh, I have chills just thinking about that. That's how far I was willing to compromise my values. I don't care that I lost my period. I want to make it to stage. And that conversation was a big turning point for me. And the period topic is so taboo. Before I got into prep, I was reaching out. I was watching vlogs. I was asking questions, and no one would talk to me about it. No one talked about it. Here you go. It's very bad for your hormonal health to be that lean. And I knew all these things logically going into prep. I knew logically it's not healthy to be that lean, that restrictive. But in my head, it was like, I'm doing a hard thing. I have a goal to get to stage, and it will be fine. You don't know until you're in the reality of it how bad it really is and how bad you really feel. So that was wake-up call number 2. And then wake-up call number 3 was I was so overstimulated, so on edge, couldn't stop crying. My body was exhausted. Like I said, 4 fat burner pills a day. So 700 milligrams of caffeine a day, which is like before prep, I was drinking like 25 to 50. So much was wrong in my body. On top of that, I was sleeping like 3 hours a night, guys. Like my body was screaming for help. And I was in the middle of a workout bawling, just like my body hurts. I can't move another muscle. I need a rest day. So I texted my coach and I said, hey, I don't have a lift tomorrow. So can I just take a full rest day? Like not worry about my steps, not worry about cardio, like just rest for a day. No caffeine, just rest. No caffeine, no movement, just one day. And he said no. And like I said, I'm not upset with him because his response was, the judges won't care that you're tired, push through. And so in his mind, he's coaching me to win because that's what I asked of him. And so I'm not mad at him, I'm mad at me for compromising and saying yes. And so I was having this breakdown through my workout, begging, can I have a rest day? And he said no. And when I realized I no longer had agency over my body and I was no longer allowed to choose, be in charge of my body, that was the breaking point for me. I think the very next day is when I texted him and I said, I'm ready to start reverse dieting. I have to be done. And so it's very layered. Like, of course, the energy levels were really tough. Just my quality of life, guys, I couldn't take my dog for a walk. I couldn't cook for my family. I had no sex drive. I was so angry all the time. Literally, if my dog even like wanted me to make him breakfast, like the audacity, I'm like, how dare you ask me to move a muscle? I only have energy for prep, and it was all consuming. And so I couldn't show up for my family. I couldn't show up for myself. And so the energy levels were a big thing. But most importantly, I think it was the values and the morals that I was compromising on that I decided I couldn't anymore. And this was a really hard decision for me to make because I feel silly. I feel embarrassed that I shared so much of it and I got so into it and I got so hype about it. And now I'm just like, oh, well, never mind, guys. Just kidding. But I also think there's a lot of power in changing your mind when you know something's not right for you, no matter how ashamed or embarrassed or silly you feel. It is okay to change your mind. And that doesn't mean I'm not capable of hard things. Like, if you have some shit to say about me quitting, like, show me your physique. Show me what you've done the last few years. That's all I'm gonna say. My ego had to come out a little bit because I am such a capable, strong woman. And me stopping this process doesn't mean I don't know how to push through hard things. It means the hard things I'm going to do need to align with my priorities and my values and my morals and taking care of myself. And it's just so funny because, not funny, sad, because I used to see the girls on stage and get FOMO and like, oh, I can't wait to get there. Now that I know what it takes to get there and do well, I see that stuff and I feel bad. I'm sad for them because I don't know, maybe it was just my prep experience. Maybe other people have a positive experience, but from what I went through, I'm sad for the women that make it to stage because I know what you have to compromise to get there. And like, maybe if I was in a different season of life, if I was 20 and didn't have a family and didn't have a business and kids weren't even anywhere on my radar, I may have been more willing to finish, but definitely not in this season of life. And I think last thing I want to say on this is maybe I just got ready too soon. Like, I was talking with a friend and she was like, the way you're describing that you feel with your energy levels and your mood and the panic attacks, like my girls that do shows, they're feeling like that 1 week, 2 weeks out, not 14. And so maybe I just went too hard, too fast and got too lean, and that was not sustainable. Like, slow and steady would have won the race. But all I know is if that's the life I had to live to make it to stage and do well, I was not willing to do that any longer. And the reverse diet was a whole nother motherfucking story that I'm gonna put in a separate video because that is a cautionary tale in and of itself. Just to kind of go into that for 1 second, I'm someone who's done the work around food, around body image for years. That's what I do, is teach women how to love their body and build a solid foundation relationship with food and have the tools to work through those things. Bulletproof mindset, bulletproof self-love. And I feel like I had a good grip on that during prep. Food, body image felt really positive. Never felt out of control around food. Never looked in the mirror and was like, oh, I'm fat, whatever. But the minute I decided that prep was over, all that went to shit. The reverse diet is harder than prep itself. And so I think that deserves its own video, but that is it. My prep journey is over, but my training journey is not. The gym is my love, my one true love. It birthed so much life in me, and that will never stop. And so who knows what's next for me in the gym? I really love training hard, but pairing that with food, with proper fuel is where I'm gonna go. So I think my immediate goals are just to get my period back, just be healthy, get my energy back, get my life back, feeling normal, feeling balanced again. The last few weeks I've felt so out of my body. I don't even feel at home in here. It's sad and it's scary. And so that's just my immediate goal. Period back, find some balance, feel good, feel strong, feel energized again. And once I get there, just not set a big goal for a while. Like just live in the gray area and train and eat and feel good. And I don't have to put a date on the calendar. I have a pattern of doing that, of setting these big lofty goals and pouring myself fully into them and losing myself in them. And I don't want to do that. I just want to live. That's going to be it. Next video, I will take you guys through the process of reverse dieting. But if there's one thing I want to leave you guys with, is stay true to what you know is right. This process may be right for some other people, but it was not right for me. And however hard and embarrassing it is to say no, however much I had to check my ego and say, you don't need to get to stage and win. This is dangerous. I had to make that decision. Authenticity, standing firm in what you believe in is so important. And that's how you live a fulfilling, happy, a loving life. Bye, guys.